Good afternoon, everyone. This is Erica Swenson Elliott, and it is April 10th, 2021, and it's a Saturday. So today I'm going to keep it a little brief, I think. We'll try to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to start, I normally start on my web page, so you can find me, ericaswensonelliott.com. I've been working on something kind of cool today, and I'm going to share that in the Tech Talk segment. And this one right here, I'm going to start on the advisor page. I'm going to lead off with the tax minute, like my usual sequence of segments. And this one's going to be a pretty kind of cool one. So for those of you that are trying to figure out after spending a year in lockdown in prison, you want to do something different, right? Like whatever your life was before, often all of you are, as a financial advisor, are calling you with insane, cool things that you're doing. One of them, I'm going to just give a little shout out from the beginning, is the Budget Savvy Travelers. I connected with them on Gab, and they are a professional travel couple. They have lived as the globe as their planet, as their home, their planetary home, since 2014, I believe. They won like Best Media 2019 for Travel Blog, and their collabs or their collaborations. So one of the things when you look at their website here, they're like, how can we help grow your company? So I'm going to connect with them and see how that would work with my little company. And because I think what they do, I love the travel as well. When we were allowed, they actually traveled all during COVID, which was pretty actually cool. They drove all over America, and there was no one there but them. So great young couple. So I'll give them a little shout out. You can find them on Gab, and here's their website, Budget Savvy, the budgetsavvytravelers.com. So they have a lot of cool stuff. They have a bunch of posts from living in Albania for a month or two. So that was really fun to see. There's not a lot of pictures coming out of Albania. So some stuff you haven't seen. They've been to all 7 continents. I haven't seen any pics from Antarctica yet. I'll have to ask them for that. But this is to come back to the creativity theme. You are a complex quantum creature as a human and have many things inside of you. And you might have a travel bug and felt like you never could travel. Well, here's a couple that do it as a job. And what kind of cool job is that, right? I have a client, young friends that they've lived and run their internet company, digital media marketing company from around the globe now for I think 5 years. They've had 2 children as well. This other couple, not the Budget Savvy group here. So there's a lot of people doing that. And so if there's something that's been on your heart during COVID that you haven't been able to do, now is the time to figure it out. Today I've done 2 changes. I can't find my computer glasses, so I'm using my progressive lens, driving long distance glasses. So if I'm going like this, I apologize. And I got a remote mouse that I haven't used in years because I've always just traveled with my laptop. So it's working well, because I know when I was using the mouse here on the board, it sounds super loud on the computers. I think it's right next to the microphone. So if you've watched my first 9 videos, you'll hear me sounds like, I'm like gorilla hands on there. So now I have a remote mouse. So you can also see it a little bit better too with the clicker when I'm pointing out different things, especially if you're trying to watch a YouTube video and you're in your 50s like me, and you're trying to see it on an iPhone. So I think maybe the black mouse thing might be a little bit better too. Okay, so this group, so you can see people living in different ways. So when I look at that from a tax person through my eyes, every time you change facts and circumstances in your personal life, it affects your tax return in some way, especially if you're a US citizen and filing your tax returns. So this group I've connected with, and this is very sophisticated tax and life planning together. And the world is definitely changing as people are no longer feeling compelled that they need to be locked down and buying a house because many young people have seen how that's happened, what's happened to their parents in doing that, and that basically the current system has bankrupted many families, where the cost of living has far outstripped what people were making. So this particular company was founded by a former partner from Arthur Andersen, I think about 25 years ago. And I have a relationship with one of his one of his advisors inside of the firm. I've talked with them on behalf of a couple clients that were interested in their programs. So you can see this 18 programs we offer worldwide, 102 countries. So this used to be for the wealthy, right? That you would be doing this as a second passport. But as people have become more travel interested and accessible, this is how it would work. And if you were looking at this as a second passport. So for example, I have a number of Jewish clients that spent a lot of time traveling. They felt very scared traveling to some countries where Jews are targeted and treated unfairly and put in jail, tortured, kidnapped. So they actually did not want to travel on a US passport into Muslim countries. So what they did is they bought a passport from an investment in real estate or an investment in a hurricane charitable fund for a Caribbean island, for example. And that's how that would work. It's about $250,000 to $400,000 if there's two of you, depending on what country. You try to do this with a European country like Malta or Portugal, it's like $1 million. So it can be a lot higher for some of the more well-known programs. So what that would get you is you can travel into more countries with these flexible passports from a small poor nation like St. Kitts and Nevis, which is a small Eastern Caribbean island, two islands nation. For those of you that love to play Hamilton, about the real life Hamilton, that was one of the founders of America. He's from Nevis, I believe, or St. Kitts. I always get it mixed up, but one of the two. They're basically, I've seen them, they're about like that big. So in that case, you're putting money into that nation, and hopefully a lot of it's making it to the actual economy and not getting siphoned off at the top by the leaders in charge, because we've seen that happen, right? But it's once that investment is made, you get the passport, and then you can come there, you can move through more countries. You can go to places like Venezuela, where as a US person, we can't go to Venezuela, or it's very difficult based on political factors between our two countries. So I would say the people that are doing this on a more like budget, if this is like you're now retiring and you're like, how do I do this? If you sell your house, and now maybe I would definitely use lending if you're going to get the second passport. I'm helping another couple. This is not through this program, but they're going to Costa Rica as a second citizenship. So you don't give up your US citizenship. You're not evading income tax here in the United States. You're still required to pay your taxes as a US citizen, because as long as you're alive and you're a US citizen, you have to file a 1040 in this in America because of your birthright, or you became a citizen by acquisition, naturalization. So Costa Rica, from a cost of living, they want business investment. So it's a cool program that's helping that country. There's an opportunity there to build like Airbnb type businesses. They want to partner. So there's people at more accessible walks of life that are actually doing that. They're living like kings relatively in Costa Rica, where they could barely make it living in a regular ordinary suburban small town life in America. So big deal, lots of changes going on. Okay, so that's taxes and passports. Again, it doesn't mean you're not paying taxes. You're still paying taxes here, but you're living at a lower cost of living in another place or having more access to live in other countries as well. Okay, so that's our tax minute. Now I want to go to Tech Talk. And this is what I'm starting to do. So I've been talking about this in my last few videos about my digital learning content platform on the platform Thinkific. And you can see it up here, thinkific.com. And Endeavor University is the brand of my learning courses that I put together. And so I like using my original watercolor art. I'm starting to embed that into these courses as well. We end each of my sessions with a Mudra that we do. So I have my Mudra course on here. If you just bought this course by itself, it's $11 for 12 Mudras. It's very reasonable, all about health and healing with your own hands. And then this Digital Warrior course, I'm taking these videos that I'm creating with you here and incorporating them into a course. So, because as we know, passive learning, I'll tell you right here. Let's see if I can get this to stop there. Passive learning is not as good as active learning because you don't remember it as much. So I'm starting to build in these little, all the links that I talk about in each video. And it takes, you can see I'm like working on it. So it's all kind of jumbled right now. But you can then click through. I'm going to end up putting, so you can have it as a reference guide. And the more I build into this, then I'll end up, I put more time and effort into it, then I'll end up raising the price a little bit as I build out each video. And this model, one of the great things about being out here on the web as a digital warrior, like many of you are, is we all learn from each other. And no matter how much they lock us down, we can still find each other as long as they don't lock down the whole internet, right? So that format, and then I have PDFs attached. So each video, it's about a half hour, little disclaimer you have to have for the lawyers. And then I have a download of the PDF of everything that you can see on the screen, and then you can download the video as well and keep it. So that way you have time to digest it. And a lot of these, because these are technical topics, you have to hear them a few times. And we're going fast because I'm basically doing overviews in the video and throwing a lot of tech talk and specialized knowledge at you. So having an ability to come back in, there's value in that. So I'm excited about it because it makes me feel good that I can leave a legacy of what I've learned, so that way you guys can learn faster than how I had to kind of piece things together. So this Endeavor University, I'm going to have, so you don't have to go find it and remember where it is. I'll have it embedded into my website, the ericaswenson-elliott.com, and that'll be under like my books and learning. And then I have a few blogs it's already linked to as well. So you can find your way there always from that website. Now, I wanted to touch on the platform that we've talked about in the last few videos with Michael Jaco. He's using another peer platform, teachable.com. I like to, usually when I start out on something, I like to kind of tinker and play a little bit, but they're all, once you get used to one, you get super efficient on one platform. So you don't, yes, it translates over, but everything's in a different place. It's kind of like if any of you, you rent a house with Airbnb and then you kind of figure out where everything is and then you go to the next one and you have to start over again. So I'm going to stay over on the Thinkific, and I know Michael's been out here on Teachable for a long time. So one of the things I learned from him is that I just ordered this particular book. I read most books on Kindle, and then I also, ones I really love, I get on paper as well, but I can read super fast on a Kindle and like just go with my finger that way. But this same book that I have on my Kindle, I just ordered through his Teachable platform here, because then you can like watch a video and you just like what I'm setting up. So as he put more content in, like the price of the bundle of all of the courses, if you bought all of his courses, it's several $1,000s. So I don't have as much content developed yet. So, my bundle for everything is like $99. So it's a different, you can also do subscriptions. So think about yourself, think about what you know, think about what, if you're really a secret teacher inside of you and you want to share with the rest of the world what you've learned. There's many ways, and you can learn and take what you like from different people and embed it with yours. So now my progressive lenses are driving me nuts right now. Okay, so let's see. I think we did everything there. We did the passports. Okay, and I think the only other thing, I was going to give a little shout out for my story time to Dr. Seuss. And I remember this book. I was in the Nana got me in the Book of the Month Club with Dr. Seuss, and I think it was every month, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Streets. The cool thing about this book, and this is, you can, despite Amazon or whoever's the one that canceled Dr. Seuss. Oh, I forgot, this was the very first book he did. So let's see if he shows anymore. But basically, it's like the little boy is using his imagination, and he's walking home from school, and he sees this little horse and buggy. What did I see on Mulberry Street? Oh, by the end of the book, he has like a huge parade going, and there's like zebras and dancing bears, and everyone in the town is there. And then you get to the, and it's so real, right? It's in his head, it's so real. And then you get to the end, and then it's just him standing on the corner again. So it's a very kind of deep book that it's like basically, the universe is within you. And it's teaching that, and probably I think children actually know this more than adults remember. So I like to use that storyline about what we're doing here, because what are we doing? We're going inward. We're finding our connection with God, our divine source, and then we're going outward and connecting with each other. For when we connect with each other is when we're in service to humanity. So, and we are getting that divine fulfillment ourselves. So, okay. And then the last thing I want to do for today is we're going to do our Mudra with my teacher, Sabrina Mesco. This is her YouTube channel. She has her own website that I put in our acknowledgements at each time. And I ended up connecting with a young woman today because I was doing so much computer work. I hurt my neck. I had to go get the kinks worked out on the massage table, and it was kind of like a divine appointment because her name was Laura, and she was telling me about her. Because we kind of just, we kind of know when you're, so I was teaching her mudras, and then she was telling me about her intuitive insights that she's received from being connected and open with the divine. And a lot of massage people are drawn there because they're divine healers. But the interesting thing is, because there are healers, they're giving so much, they're often, because they're empathic, they're taking on our sadness, our illness. And if they can't figure out how to protect themselves, they end up carrying our burdens for us. And she was verifying that when we were talking today. She was saying, yeah, they'll get off the table and say, wow, I feel so much better. And she'd be, oh, I know you feel so much better because I just took it all on me. So one of the mudra I taught her was protection mudra. So that's the one right here in the center. You see with Sabrina here with her arms crossed, left over right, with her fingers all touching. So if you think about it, fingers are touching because you're closing off the energy and you're keeping your energy within. And she has her arms crossed over her heart chakra, the center of her chest, because that, especially women and empathetic people, you can feel, and this can be me sometimes too, you can feel people's darkness come in, and or if you're watching physical violence, often you physically feel it happening to you, what you're seeing with your eyes. So when you go into protection mudra, and I did this one probably every day for a year before I felt like it kind of is innate and stays with me, because now I can keep people's pain over on their side, and I can see it and observe it and be empathetic, but I don't have to take it in, or it doesn't just come into me. So this is a good one for those of you that are trying to draw the boundaries around you and protect yourself. So this was Divine Protection Mudra. Okay, so you would hold that for 3 minutes, and the way you would do your breath, we're going to do breath together. So you're going to keep your spine straight and long, your shoulders down, your neck long, your chin level to the floor. You're going to do a deep inhale slowly through your nose. And then an exhale through your nose. Another inhale. Exhale. So the thing I want to end on today is change can be overwhelming, and it can always feel like it's too late to start something new. And one of my favorite quotes from Bikram, when I went to Bikram yoga every day for 10 years, was, you're never too old, you're never too sick, you're never too young to begin again. So there's no excuses. There's something that's on your heart that you've always wanted to do, you always wanted to try, or you're afraid, you want to share what you know. Just take baby steps a little bit at a time. You start with one thing and you pick up speed as you go along. And then you're also changing your energy. When you do mudras, you're changing your energy. When you pray, you're changing your energy. When you meditate, you're lifting your energy to a higher level. And when you do that, you draw to you what you desire. So you answer, the prayers are answered that you've been secretly praying because you're taking those little steps. And then people that want to be on your team are coming to be a part of your team. And I like to do this at the end, and I'm going to thank my little team that came to me because I started taking my little baby steps and if you just keep doing that every day, more and more things come to you. So in my acknowledgements, I'd like to say this show would not be possible without the hard work and support of my marketing director and agent, Shannon Putt, and the marketing and technology techno genius wizard Navarro at Max Labs Solutions, who fixes everything that I break and gives me all these new tools to play with. Like, he's the one that got me on Thinkific, along with Zapier and all kinds of things. BizBooks Expert, that's my digital tax technology platform, where we'll be putting that very specific, like tax content, business content together. You can be very narrowly focused with that and access that information as we continue to aggregate it. Arnell Melius makes all of this work, supports me from halfway around the globe in the Philippines. He works with me full-time. He's my senior accountant. He's a Filipino CPA, and he's also a watercolorist like myself. So just imagine that. I had to take those baby steps, and through TOA Global that we talked about yesterday, the outsourced accountant global brought me Arnell. And we're going to do more drill down detail on TOA Global because there's a lot of great things that can happen for you and your company by working with an offshore accounting and personal executive assistant support firm. Okay, Arnica Press is my publisher, and that is my Mudra teacher, Sabrina Mesco. We did that. So when you buy any of my books, digital content, art, or original products, you're supporting all of these acknowledged partners of mine and subcontractors. So onward we go. Have a great weekend.